So, what point did you actually consider this to be your lifestyle?
The point I considered to be my lifestyle was about 8th grade when I was spending about 12 to 16 hours a day playing Halo 2. And I only played that much because the competition's always playing more than you. And me being a young teenager with time, I just spent the most time doing it. And being 9 years old and busting out stuff like that is just crazy.
So, when you were in your peak of your interests, when you were spending the most time, what was your routine like? How many hours of sleep were you getting?
I'd probably play about 16 hours a day on just that sheer video game, and that was nothing but practice and scrimming, and then I'd sleep, and then I'd wake up and play again. So
Did it ever interfere with eating, class, assignments,
it did
work?
interfere because I'd end up playing video games for 16 hours, doing like an hour of homework at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd sleep for an hour and then go to school.
So, how much time do you spend not using any technology whatsoever?
Oh, does that consider my cell phone?
Yep, no cell phone, no nothing.
Alright, well, since my cell phone's always on me, I'm going to say maybe the couple minutes I'm in the shower.
So how much time do you spend like on the computer, on the internet, gaming, cell phone?
I'm always producing music, so I'm going to say all day for the computer. Gaming is about 4 or 5 hours again, and then everything else just kind of has time when it's there. But yeah, because I love it. It's just one of those things that you love. Like some people find it out when they're older, and some people find out when you're younger. And I found it out just by I just love playing games. I love the people that you hang out with while playing them. I love the storylines, the just what you do in them. It's just really cool, and I think that it builds imagination for a lot of people, and it just helps keeps things real. I guess.
The money that you've gained from gaming, are you going to like pursue that route to pay for?
It's all gone.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all gone.
Cool. Or did you feel like you used to have irrationalities in it?
I used to have irrationalities during my 8th grade, freshman and sophomore year. Like, I didn't like socializing with people or anything. It was just kind of that time where I was a loser, but I made money playing video games, so it was just kind of like it had drawbacks, but also had pros too. So when it comes to the internet and gaming as a whole, I just think it's just the ability to meet people that you would never meet if it wasn't for the internet. Like we'd just be a bunch of people that would only know people from our own high school if it wasn't for the internet. I mean, like because of the gaming and because of the internet, we can meet people across the world and become best friends with them, even though we'll never meet them in our entire life. So I mean, like I just think it's how life is going to evolve over time with the internet in it.
What about more friends, online or offline?
I'd say more, well, more in person, obviously, but I had a lot more friends online. At the same time, I had a lot of friends in real life because in high school, friends, you have like plus 200 friends on Facebook and all the usual being a teenager stuff. I know a lot of people. I'm not completely antisocial, so I just end up striking up conversations. So with a lot of people in real life I'd be friends with, but at the same time that also affected playing like World of Warcraft and other online games. I would get to know a lot of people through the internet. So I had a much larger group of friends for both, but definitely in real life. And then now I have a lot less friends only because, since I've graduated, people go to different colleges than me and they don't live in Westland anymore. So it's not really so much like I have less friends by choice. It's just kind of like less acquaintances you see on a daily basis, but also since I stopped playing online games as much, there's less people that I interact with there. And I did make a lot of good friends that I'm still in contact with through those games, but I still would say I definitely have more friends in real life. I think that is a problem though for some people, since it's such an easy outlet. Like I said, it's so easy to get addicted to. A lot of people will make more friends online, which continues to fuel that addiction because if they don't feel like they have any friends in real life, I played with a lot of people like that, and I knew a lot of people like that when I played WoW that were my friends, but I would be like their only friend in real life, and they'd have like 20 friends online. and so they would. That's just a number. I don't really know how many friends they had, but one of their few friends would be me, and then they would have a lot more acquaintances online, and so I always saw that. And like, hey, I mean, even when I, in my addicted times, would want to go out and do something or just go hang out at their house that night, they'd be like, okay, well, you can come over. I'm just going to keep playing. If you want to log off, then we're just not hanging out. And it'd be interesting to see, even for me, and I thought I was addicted, there's much more deeper levels of addiction and just not even taking it to the extreme of addiction, but a comfort with that lifestyle that's interesting to see even for me, which helped me realize, like, one of the reasons, it's not like I had this intervention, I broke myself out of games, I just realized I wasn't necessarily happy playing that much games, so that's when I, like I said, moved on. Like a chore, almost, or an addiction, I guess would be the best way to put it, because it wasn't fun at times almost. It was just like, I knew if I didn't play, then later on it would be harder to catch up, and a lot of those type of games have that kind of structure. If you stop playing, you're going to be way behind where you would be if you just keep playing. It's that never ending. There's not really an end to that story. It's like if you had a book that was your favorite book, and it never ended. There was just like reading about a story that went on and on and on. Like, if Harry Potter never, okay, that wouldn't be bad. But if it was, something that you started liking, but then months and months into it, having spent all your free time reading that book, if it never stopped, eventually you'd stop caring so much about what they did, and you'd put the book down and just not care and do something else. And that's kind of how it was for, I'd like to say more than a couple months. It was definitely more in the years category at that point, but still it was not, it became not enjoyable and more of a chore, and that's when I started to get out of it and realize those type of things aren't really fun. And then even if you can play those games, I mean, I'm not mean to diss, wow, I did play it for so long, I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I think you have to be wary of addictions like that, because if you play them for too much, then you can just lose yourself in them, and they do become more of a chore and an addiction than they do what I like to do them as now, which is just a respite from real life, or just a break from.
So it actually sounds like you would consider it to be a hobby now, as it was a lifestyle prior.
Yes, definitely. And I think I enjoy myself more playing games because it's taking a break from them makes them a hobby, which a hobby then is that something to, like I said, relax and take my mind off of the day, or just not be stressed about. Whereas before it would be almost a job, but for myself, and then I was tricking myself into thinking, oh, I like this, I should keep playing this. But when you'd stop and think about it now, or even in times then, I did quit multiple times and then come back to it. But that was just from either being too busy and actually like being forced to stop and get better grades before I could do it, or not have money to pay for it, so I'd go and get a job. Not that I was sinking all my money into it, but being a high school kid, I don't have a lot of cash, so it was like being forced to take a break.
Do you feel like your hobby ever came in between you and like stuff with parents, chores, just daily stuff? Like, did your hobby ever interfere with anything?
It does still, and did more than does still now, because when I'm playing video games, not that I mean to be, but I really like to just zone out. Well, like I said, I use it as a tool for relaxing. It's just me. Now, it used to be just because I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do that later, and I would put it off for days, and now it's more of, I'm trying to, when I say that, actually go and do something, like dishes or laundry or anything like that. My mom would be like, make sure you get your load out there and get it all washed, and that way it doesn't mess up everyone's cycle. Whereas for me, it's like, what I used to have said would have been, oh yeah, just a second, but I'd still be going crazy at the computer, and it'd be days before I got the messy plates out, and it'd have to be really bad. Like, I'd have to start noticing the smell in here. Whereas now it's like, if I'm zoned out or playing a game, it's not because I hate the world around me, it's just because that's how I'm choosing to relax. I generally have my headphones in, and I'm just trying to wind down, and I just have to catch myself and do that. So yeah, it did, but not so much now. Oh, Billy, yeah, he's cool. He'll be the life of the party for a little bit, and then he'll ignore us and go play WoW. You would just try to sit me down and be like, Billy, you have to look at me and understand this. This should not be moving, or this should not be hard, or these clothes, you don't wear them, yet somehow they're dirty in a pile in your room, and we're sleeping right next to them on the floor. And you would just be frantically telling Robin, me, we have to clean this is not healthy, you're scaring me, it's worse than anything I've ever seen, and other strange horror-related things. And this is, as much as I'm laughing, very true. This actually happened. And it's not that I'm a total slob, and it's not that I don't care about my life, cleanliness is close to godliness and all that, but it's more of the fact that I just was so distracted. The fact that I was so involved in those games that were so addicting, added on to the fact that when I'm just playing video games to zone out, ignoring the world around me, to the fact that it was just horrible. Like, again, I would get home, my mom would bring me in food, I'd play games for like 7 hours, I'd drop the plate somewhere. You have no idea how much food I can fit onto this desk. It should probably be in a record book somewhere. Like, my mom literally at points had to buy more, like, dishes because of what I had in my room. She thought that they were getting broken or lost somewhere.
So what are your college goals?
That I'm still figuring out. I got 2 semesters about under my belt in 2009, I guess, 2009, 2010, that year, and then that's when I didn't have any more money to pay for college. And then so the rest of that year and the year after that, I was just looking for work and wanting to go back to school. Still not knowing what I wanted to do, but I was just doing general education stuff. And then the beginning of this year, I was still trying to get back to school, but I finally got a job, so I was getting money saved up, and now I'm back paying for school at PCC and taking general ed classes. I'm thinking about doing something in the technology field, maybe computers, but that's one of like 4 or 5 different ways I might go. So